in Delhi after 10 days on the run. They're back in India and the Goa police team is waiting inside the Delhi airport to arrest them. The Indigo flight with the Luthra brothers has now landed, as my colleagues have been talking about. The Indian agencies have brought them back to India. I'm going back to Ashutosh right now, who continues to be with me from the Delhi airport. Ashutosh, a lot of security has been put in place. The Goa police is also there. What more do we know? What is the latest update?
The deboarding process has been initiated, and they'll be the first. The Luthra Brothers, along with the Indian agents, they'll be first escorting the Luthra Brothers to the exit gate and to follow towards the immigration. So that's take around 5 to 6 minutes. I'll seek your apology. I'll have to attend this call, please.
And Ashutosh Mishra is at the Delhi airport, tracking every second of what is happening inside the Delhi airport as the Luthra brothers have been brought back from Thailand. Remember, this is with regard to the death of 25 people who died at this nightclub fire. The Goa police team is inside. Ashutosh is back with me now. Ashutosh, what update do you have for us now?
Okay, Luthra Brothers have moved out of the craft with the Indian agents that have got the extradition for these two accused from Thailand, and now they are headed towards the immigration department along with the CISF security. Once the immigration, because the extradition process has taken a paperwork, they need to be handed over. So that process of handing over will be done by the immigration department. The Indian agents will hand over them to the immigration. Once the process is cleared, along with the documentation, Goa police official, 6 members of the special team that is probing this entire case with the senior officials along with the female officials, and so total strength of a 6% who are waiting at the immigration waiting area. Once that process is completed, hardly for a matter of 5 minutes, and they'll be handed over. The Goa police will take them into custody right at the immigration, right behind me at the Terminal 3 airport of the arrival area. So the custody is likely to be taken any time soon, and once the custody is taken, they will be taken out. Again, the medical and the transit, the legal, all the legal process will be followed. So Goa police will initially try to take them to Goa court as soon as possible. Even if there is a late night flight available, they will try their best. In that case, in absence of any transportation available, probably the night that they will have with Luthra Brothers, they can spend into investigation, inquiry about why they escaped. So all that process that begins here, that real test for the Luthra Brothers begins, who absconded, escaped the investigation, escaped the Indian law right after such tragedy unfolded under their nose in a restaurant that they own, probably because of a lot of negligencies, ignoring the law, ignoring such construction, and they are responsible. They will be questioned.
Of course, Ashutosh, these are the questions that we've been asking, that the entire country is asking. How exactly was this resort allowed to open? How was it operating? Why was there so much negligence when it came to the way it was constructed, the way it was managed? Because remember, this is a resort built, as my colleague Shreya was saying, on salt pan land, which is an environmentally protected, fragile area where there should have not been any construction allowed. It was built with wood, it was built with plastic. I was personally there in Goa to report on the aftermath of this fire, and we saw how damaged the entire space was. Shreya continues to be with me on this story. Shreya, the immigration process is now happening, as Ashutosh was just saying. They've been brought back. The immigration department is going to be handing them over to the police. But what exactly are the charges they are likely to be facing? One, of course, being causing death due to negligence. Are we also seeing more charges being added against the Luthra brothers? Breaking news coming in. Goa police has arrested the Luthra brothers at the airport. Formal arrest of the Luthra brothers by the Goa police at the Delhi airport. Shreya, can you tell us more about what's happening?
Well, absolutely. This is a confirmation that is coming from the Goa police. They have formally arrested the Luthra brothers at the airport. This is as per the process that was planned. At first, they were handed over to the Indian authorities at the immigration, and subsequently the Goa police has formally arrested the Luthra brothers. So this is a huge breaking news come in. A 10 days escape finally comes to an end. The Luthra brothers in the custody of Goa police. Very shortly, we will see Anisha walking out, the Luthra brothers walking out of the Delhi airport. They will then be taken for medical, and subsequently we will be seeing them in the Patiala House Court, where their remand will be sought, and then they will be taken to Goa. What we were talking about, that whether more clauses and more sections will be added, we'll definitely be seeing that, because clearly as the complainants also mount in, because remember we're talking about the victim families of 25 individuals. So this is a strong case that the Goa police will also have to build and set an example, because the entire case has also brought shame to the Goa authorities. How did two brothers actually flout environmental norms, land a restaurant over there, a pub club over there, and then manage to flout norms? There will be a lot of investigation, trail of investigation, and everyone who are responsible in that line of order will be taken into task. But clearly that first ball has now been hit, and we will be shortly seeing the Luthra brothers stepping out of the IGI.
You're keeping an eye on the Indira Gandhi International Stadium, but as Shreya was saying, this is just the first step. There are a lot of questions that have to be asked when it comes to this entire tragedy. How was this land given over? There are questions being asked in Goa regarding the allegations that the land takeover was also done forcibly. The original owners, whether they gave up the land willingly or not. How exactly were environmental norms allowed to be flouted? How was this resort allowed to be built at the place that it was? We saw the Sarpanch of Arpura being questioned by the Anjana police on the day of this fire incident, where he claimed that approvals came from up high. That is a question that the investigation into this entire incident will have to answer. How exactly were these approvals given? How exactly were these was this nightclub allowed to operate? Whether any fire safety equipment, whether any fire safety norms were followed. Ashutosh, of course, continues to be with me on this story. Ashutosh, what more are you picking up? What is happening at the airport, and what are we expecting for the rest of the day?
Well, the process to take them into custody is underway. The immigration officials will hand them over, and once the custody is officially announced, they'll be taken outside. So I'm waiting for another 2 to 3 minutes. Probably they'll be taken outside. In fact, we are creating a very close tab. So the process to take them in custody is already initiated.
Ashutosh, let's tell our viewers a little more about what has been happening over the last 10 days since the fire. Ashutosh seems to be bringing us some live images from what is happening at the Delhi airport. Ashutosh, can you, if you can hear me, tell us what is happening at the airport right now? So, well, I'm trying to get you the live images of the passage where they'll be escorted with the Goa police officials, both Luthra brothers, because right after the immigration, there's the custom gate, and this is exactly the passage. If they have to walk out, they'll be walking out only from this gate. So we are keeping a very close tab, because it's a matter of minutes. Since the process has been initiated of the arrest, they'll be handed over. So this shouldn't take more than 3 to 4 minutes. So these are the live images from Delhi's Terminal 3. The Luthra brothers absconding, two owners of the resort which caught the fire, killing around 25 people, absconded and escaping the investigation. Finally, they have been extradited from Thailand. They have been brought to India to face the law of the land, and finally they are being taken into custody, and any moment they'll be brought out through this gate. 6 officials of the Goa police. So there's a team of 6, including the investigating officer, and once they are brought out, then the legal process will be initiated for the transit remand, including the medical test and the producing them to a local court, Delhi's court, and obtaining the legal transit remand. And then the police will try to take these both brothers to Goa as soon as possible for the further investigation and the further course of legal process. We are keeping a very close tab. That's the passage area where the Goa police is likely to bring Ashutosh, keep your eye very closely on what is happening at the airport. And I'm also going back to Shreya on this issue. Shreya, they're being brought back. There are serious questions being asked about how this nightclub caught fire, how this nightclub was operating in the first place. What more can you tell us about the investigation so far? Shreya.
Well, Anisha, I'll just actually give you the preparations that are going on right now at the IGI. I'll ask my cameraman Alok Das to actually show you the escort vehicles that have just landed at one of the gates from where the possibility of the Luthra brothers exiting is seeming to be the highest. We are all panned out at different locations. My colleague Ashutosh is reporting from another point, and we are at another point at the IGI airport. We are being told that possibly he will be exiting from this point where the escort vehicles of the Delhi police team has actually landed up. You can see those vehicles also coming one by one, prepping, because anytime from now we will see the formal process of arresting, because that's already taken place, and now we will see them being brought out. So anytime from now, Anisha, we will probably clocking those visuals.
Shreya Chatterjee, keeping a very, very close eye on what's happening at the airport. My colleague Ashutosh and Shreya both there, as these two Luthra brothers have now been brought back to Delhi. But Shreya, can you take us through a little more on the investigation? We've seen how the fire happened. We saw how the Luthra brothers ran away. Their co-owner Ajay Gupta was arrested in Delhi. The Luthra brothers filed an anticipatory bail petition, which was thrown out by from the Delhi court. This has been 10 days of a lot of questions and a lot of legal movement. Can you take our viewers through what has been happening in the last 10 days? Shreya.
Well, in the last 10 days, what we saw was one by one the doors closing for the Luthra brothers. They had also tried to gain an anticipatory bail, which was a transit anticipatory bail that they had moved in the Rohini court of the national capital. Nothing really worked out for them, and subsequently they were arrested by the police in Thailand. And then we saw that, because that was a formal process that was taken place after the notice was issued against them. There was a lookout circular that was also opened against them. The Indian agencies pulled in, and it's only after that we saw them actually being taken in by the team of police there in Thailand. And subsequently what transpired was the Indian agency, 4 members, I'm told, were there at the Thailand, where they formally took in the Luthra brothers. Then he is being brought in as we were reporting, and now as he landed in the national capital, both the brothers, Saurav and his brother, both of them landed at the immigration of the IGI, is where their formal arresting has taken place. And shortly now we will see them move ahead, where they will be taken to the Patiala House Court. A transit remand will be sought, and then subsequently they'll be taken to Goa. The entire violation is about how environmental norms were flouted, how seating arrangements were flouted, how fire norms were flouted. All of this resulted into the death of 25 individuals. After that, these people actually managed to run away. So this is an entire conspiracy that needs to be looked into. There will be more sections in all likelihood, Anisha, because, even from your experience of covering such cases, we do know that the police will look to make this a watertight case, because setting an example is required. The entire incident has also brought in a lot of shame for the Goa administration, because a lot of questions also rose that how did these people, even get the license to operate a club at a salt pan, and that too so quickly, because trade license is accessed by India Today. Our colleagues in Mumbai, it clearly shows that within 4 days of those applications giving in, the actually NOC was given to them. So how did they manage it so quickly? How did they run their operations? All these things will be investigated. Every little individual will be brought to book.
Yes, Shreya, as you've been talking about, the investigation into the nightclub fire has also caused a major political storm in Goa. The Goa State Disaster Management Authority also asked for complete audit of all restaurants, bars, nightclubs, shacks in the state. Because remember, tourism being affected will affect the economy of Goa severely. And this nightclub had become a very, very famous one because of how it was being run. Ashutosh, of course, continues to be with me on this. Ashutosh, you're keeping a very close eye on the customs corridor at the IGI airport. Can you tell us a little more about what is happening, what are we expecting, and what is happening with the fallout of this of this fire? Ashutosh.
Well, again, the primary role of the police will be that how they are responsible in terms of, because they are owner, there were illegal constructions. But as we know, you all know about how the things work in a tourism places, that most of the resort or establishment, you will see, always often flout the rules regarding of construction, the safety area, safety norm. There have been always in that case. But since in this case here, there have been an incident where 25 people died. So eventually, who should be held responsible? Of course, the owner, because they hold the property. Because of their negligence and negligence in the construction area, several rules were flouted. They'll be booked into that, part of negligence. But at the same time, the negligence responsibility doesn't lie only with the owners of these resorts, but at the same time, also the people, agencies, fire department, the civic body, the rural panchayat area, everyone responsible who are responsible to check and balance about the constructions, about the rules, because you do not have only the Indian tourists or the domestic tourists pouring in a number in the festive time. We are approaching towards Christmas and New Year. You have the international tourists also coming. It is responsibility also the local governance to make sure there is no illegal construction taking place. There are fire safety, there are entry and exit, and there are rules are flouted. So clearly it comes largely, see, again I say, how strong the case will be in court of law is yet to be seen. But what gives a bad optics about escaping the law of the land, escaping from an investigation, absconding, leaving the country midnight when they know that instead of going and surrendering to the police, probably had these Luthra brothers have gone to the police and surrendering themselves, that they are available for the investigation and questioning, this would not have taken really a bad optics. And even if the court, they could have approached for anticipatory bail or even the seeking bail, that they are cooperating with the law, they are cooperating with the agencies. Here the highly optics played because they absconded. The Goa police was quick to approach to the center, then the agencies, the lookout notice issued, blue corner notice issued. Then because of the extradition treaty between India and Thailand, the government was quick to proceed, and these two brothers from Phuket, they were taken to Bangkok. Then the permission of the Attorney General was sought as per the treaty. There are treaty agreements, and right after following the course, within 72 hours, the extradition was approved by the Thai authorities. And then the Indian agents are bringing them. And look, in 3.5 hours of the travel, they are finally brought to Delhi, and the arrest has already been taking place. Any moment, I am keeping a very close eye on the exit gate. Any moment, these Luthra brothers will be brought out.
All right, Ashutosh and Shreya both keeping a very, very close eye on what is happening inside the IGI airport. Viewers, remember, the Luthra brothers have been brought back. They've been extradited from Thailand, brought back to India to face justice, face the legal system. The Luthra brothers had run away from India to Thailand. They'd gone off to Phuket just after the fire that engulfed their nightclub, Birch by Romeo Lane in Arpura in Goa, that claimed the lives of 25 people. And these 25 people, viewers, at least 14 of them were the staff of this nightclub. Many of them died due to the fire, injuries received in the fire. Many also suffocated due to the fire safety violations in this nightclub itself. Several of them have, and the families of these victims have been clamoring for justice. How was this nightclub allowed to operate? Why they were not following the norms? Why was the staff put in a place which was so dangerous? How was there fireworks being used inside the nightclub? What kind of materials was this nightclub built with? How was there so much violation of construction norms, of fire safety norms, of environmental norms when it came to this nightclub? And that has also raised a very, very serious question about how permissions are given, how the corruption, how deep the corruption goes in Goa, which depends on tourists, which depends on tourism earnings for its economy. Ashutosh, Ashutosh will be joining me again in just a moment. But viewers, let's take you through what has been happening over the last 10 days. On Saturday evening, this nightclub catches in the middle of the night, this nightclub catches fire. By around 11:45 is when the first fire calls are made. In the next 1 hour or so, as the fire tenders reach the narrow lane where this nightclub is run, it is complete pandemonium. Several people injured in the stampede. There were almost 100, more than 100 people in that nightclub premises, all of whom tried to exit, run out of that one single gate. Many of the people got injured in that particular stampede. They lost their belongings, they got serious injuries. 14 of the 25 dead were nightclub staff, all of whom were either in the kitchen or just nearby. Questions have been asked in the last 10 days. On the very next day, when this nightclub fire incident had happened, by Sunday morning, the Chief Minister of Goa, the Governor of Goa, the political leaders across party lines raised the same question. How was this nightclub operating? And that is the big question that the entire country has been asking for the last 10 days. There are questions being raised about the land transfer to the Luthra Brothers. There are questions being asked about the construction permissions. There are questions being asked about fire safety norms being violated. Everything is under a big question mark. Ashutosh is back with us now. Ashutosh is still at the IGI airport, keeping a very, very close eye. Is there any update that we've gotten about the handover of the Luthra Brothers to the Goa police and when they will be taken out of the airport and taken to the court?
Well, the custody, the formal custody has already been taken place. They have been handed over. All it looks like certain mother formalities being done, or they are probably working out to some strategy to take them out, because the handover process has been done. They have cleared the immigration. They have been handed over. The Goa police have arrested them formally, and we are just only is a matter of minutes. That's why we are keeping a close eye whether the police doesn't want to bring them to media, because they know quite a number of cameras are waiting outside since the Luthra Brothers have been brought to India to face the law of the land. So it's a matter of minutes, Anisha. We are keeping really a very close eye, and then when they are brought out, we'll get you the first images on India Today.
Ashutosh, keeping a very close eye on this particular exit at the airport. Of course, Shreya is also with me on this story. Shreya, we seem to have lost the connection with Shreya right now. Ashutosh, can you tell us what you've picked up from your sources so far? Because you've been there at the IGI airport since the morning. What kind of security arrangements have been put in place? What kind of arrangements are we looking at?
Not exactly much in terms of security, because he's not some national absconder. I mean, he's an accused in such a incident that unfolded in a Goa nightclub. So, of course, because of looking at the number of cameras and probably just to avoid some chaos, the police made arrangement. In case of Goa, police escorted him to the medical for the medical checkup or the local court. In terms of other arrangements, yes, to the smooth immigration process, the CISF officials were informed, the airport vigilance, airport intelligence, all the authorities were kept in loop. In fact, we have the exclusive picture when the Goa official, the 6th team member of the Goa police, when they went inside, so all the information were already provided to the airport team and all the security agencies to make a smooth access of an entire legal process. In fact, something looks like on a standby inside the airport, where I'm having really a close eye that any moment they are likely to be taken out, because formalities has been done. All it looks like, again, the police will decide the further course, where to bring them out from and how they're going to proceed it further.
All right, Ashutosh, keeping a very close eye on this, on the IGI airport. Remember, these brothers are being brought back to India from Thailand. The Interpol issued a blue corner notice against the Luthra brothers after they absconded from Delhi. They also moved the Rohini court in Delhi seeking anticipatory bail, claiming that they cannot be held responsible for what happened at the Goa nightclub. But the court did not entertain that particular anticipatory bail plea. On your screens, viewers, is also the images that we have of how that nightclub had caught fire. The nightclub, which was a very famous one, which was a very highly frequented one, was having a Saturday night event. They were having a party. There were dancers, the foreign dancers who were performing. Sparks coming out from the wall, and within minutes, the entire premises on fire. It took a couple of hours to set out that, to put out that fire. The fire tenders also had to come in through the narrow lanes where this particular nightclub was operating. By morning, the Chief Minister of Goa, the Governor of Goa, both had visited the victims. They had said that there will be justice for the victims, there will be investigation. Remember, Goa is full of nightclubs, bars, hotels, restaurants, and the State Disaster Management Authority, in fact, this incident caused the government of Goa to wake up to the disaster that is waiting if fire safety norms, if environmental norms are not followed properly. In fact, the SDMA issued a circular asking every hotel, every establishment, every nightclub in the state to conduct a fire safety audit to ensure that they have fire NOCs within a period of 7 days. Now, it's almost 7 days since that notification was issued. We will also wait and see, and we'll keep a close eye on how these fire safety norms are being now tightened in Goa, because this incident has raised a lot of question marks about the permissions that are being granted, how that is being done. And on your screens right now, viewers, are the visuals we are getting from the airplane itself, as the Luthra brothers have been brought back to India, passengers deboarding from the plane. Shreya is with me on this story. Shreya, we're getting some visuals from inside that flight where the Luthra brothers were being brought back. What can you tell us about it?
Well, yes, these are the first visuals of the Luthra brothers after that aircraft landed in the national capital. You can see both of them in those visuals, and clearly this is while the flight was still there inside the aircraft. Shortly, they have now been taken out of the aircraft. That's something that we've been told. The process of immigration is currently under its way, and any time that formal arresting will be taking place. So clearly things are speeding up quite right now, because what we'll also see today is after that remand being sought of the Luthra brothers in transit, they will be also flown to Goa. So that is also something that will be taking place today itself. So news tightening around the Luthra brothers. Those first visuals coming in of the brothers being brought back to Indian soil. Another successful operation for the Indian agencies, where two individuals who responsible for the death of 25 people run the country, and in 10 days, which is a huge success, in fact, they have been brought back to the Indian soil.
All right, Shreya, you've brought us these exclusive visuals. First, on India Today, the visuals from the flight that has come back to India, the Luthra brothers being brought back by the Indian agencies. Ashutosh also keeping a very close eye at the airport where the Luthra brothers are being brought back. Remember, this is a case of causing death due to negligence. 25 people have lost their lives because the owners of this nightclub cut corners, violated safety norms, violated all environmental norms. We'll have to wait and see how the investigation goes on, what kind of case is built against the owners of this nightclub. The Luthra brothers, of course, being brought back from Thailand. That also created a huge uproar that these two men fled India immediately after the nightclub fire broke out. While the investigation was going on, their co-owner was arrested and remains in the custody of the Indian police. Ashutosh, if you can hear me, what is happening at the airport right now?
Yes, our quick information that now finally they are being taken to the immigration department. They were first to deboard the flight. The CISF official, the Indian agents and other Indian officials, they were waiting at the lounge area. Now as we speak, they are walking towards the immigration department. So from the deboarding gate to the immigration, it is going to take another 3 to 4 minutes to reach at the immigration area. As we know, the access lounge is quite a walkable distance. So that's the information that we are getting from the sources inside who are tracking very closely the movement. So they are heading towards the immigration department along with the Indian agents and the CISF security officials. So this is likely to going to take another 15 to 20 minutes. So as we know, the latest update information is that they are walking towards the immigration area of the arrival lounge in the Terminal 3 airport.
Well, Ashutosh, can you take us through what we are expecting today? Since the morning, you've been at the airport. We've also got our reporters at the Patiala House court. Can you take us through what has been going on since the morning with the immigration procedures and what we are expecting over the next few hours?
Again, after the immigration process is done, they will be handed over to the Goa police. They are waiting. The immigration formality is going to take 5 to 10 minutes. This is not that they will have to wait in the queue area. There will be fast process of immigration. And as of it happen just across the immigration gate, right moment they are announced, because unless you cross the immigration area of any country, you are not actually announced as an immigrant. Once they cross, they will be officially on the Indian soil immediately, right after crossing the immigration gate. Once their boarding passes are stamped, passports are stamped, they will be immediately taken into custody by the Goa police, which are right across waiting along with the CISF official. And then the process of bringing them out is hardly a couple of minutes. And again, medical tests will be essentially required to seek a transit visa, transit arrest. And once they obtain the transit of these two Luthra brothers, probably Goa police will try their best to take them to Goa ASAP. If there is a flight available from Delhi to later in the evening, they'll of course carry out this process. And if it is not, then probably they would seek the first flight tomorrow morning. But whatever hours they will have, the Goa police will have, they would definitely try to continue.
All right,
their
Ashutosh, we've got exclusive images, the first visuals of the Luthra brothers at the IGI airport. On your screens right now, viewers, is the visual of Saurav and Gaurav Luthra, the two owners of Romeo Lane, Birch by Romeo Lane, the nightclub that caught fire, killing 25 people. The Indian agencies have brought back these men who fled India and fled to Thailand immediately after the fire incident happened to escape justice. And after an Interpol notice, the Thai authorities arrested them right there in Phuket, and now they've been brought back to Delhi. On your screens right now, viewers, are the first exclusive images of the two Luthra brothers who've now been brought back to India. Shreya continues to be with me on this story. Shreya, these exclusive images have now come to India today. First pictures of the Luthra brothers back in India. What exactly is happening at the airport right now? What more can you tell us?
Well, these are the visuals that we are actually getting of the Luthra brothers. The first images after they have reached the IGI airport, both of them, those masked images, as you can see, of them. And clearly this is as the immigration process is almost about to complete. The formal arrest is also just a few moments from now is what we're being told. And what we do see over here are two people who were fugitives who ran away after the fire tragedy that led to the 25 individuals' death at their own club, the Birch Romeo Lane in the Goa. In the North Goa, Arpora region. These are the two brothers who had fled the country, gone to Thailand, and now they've brought back. And these are the first visuals exclusively accessed by my colleague Arvind Oja, as you can see those live on our TV screens.
All right, as Shreya said, these are the first images exclusively accessed by our colleague Arvind Oja. The two brothers have been brought back to India. Remember, they face multiple charges under the Bharatiya Nyaya Sanhita arising out of the FIR that was registered by the Goa police after the Birch by Romeo Lane fire. Remember, the FIR clearly says that the staff, without taking proper care and caution, without providing fire safety equipment, organized a fire show at their restaurant and at their club, which resulted in a serious fire, due to which 25 innocent people succumbed to death. It also caused injuries to the tourists and staff. The Goa police making it very clear that they are holding these men and the managers of the restaurant responsible for the death of the 25 people who lost their lives at the Birch by Romeo Lane fire. They are facing the charge of culpable homicide not amounting to murder, which is causing death of a person because of their actions, knowing that that action can possibly cause death. Even if they didn't intend to kill anyone, they knew that what they were doing was a very, very dangerous act. These are the sections that they are facing in the FIR against them, and that can be from 5 years imprisonment to 10 years to even life imprisonment, depending on how the Goa police structures its case against the Luthra brothers and the management of Birch by Romeo Lane. Ashutosh also continues to be with me. Ashutosh, the FIR is very clear. The Goa police making the managers and the owners responsible for the death of the 25 people who lost their lives. What else, what more do we know about what's going on at the airport right now, and what is going to be happening in the next few hours? We seem to have lost the connection to Ashutosh. We'll get that back. Shreya continues to be with me on this story. Shreya, the Luthra brothers are at the Delhi airport. The Goa police is in the process of arresting them formally. What do we know about the current status of this entire procedure?
Well, it's almost done right now, Anisha, because we have those visuals of them at the immigration. So this is a formal process. The authorities will have to hand it over to the Indian authorities here at the immigration. It's from the immigration that the Goa police will take charge, arrest. So this is an arrest that the Goa police is also doing in another state's soil. And that's the reason from there we will see them head to the court, where there will be a seeking of transit remand. As I've been saying, that once the transit remand is sought, then they will be flying out and back to Goa. So that's the process that's already in line right now. And we are almost, I mean, in another few minutes, we will get that official confirmation coming in from the Goa police of the formal arresting. And because they've already stepped out of the aircraft, and the Goa police was already waiting at the immigration with those first visuals coming in. Any time from now, we will also be seeing the Luthra brothers exiting the IGI airport, and they will be directly taken here from here to the Patiala House Court. In court number 10 of the Patiala House is where the transit remand hearing will be taking place, and there from onwards we will see the Goa police head with them back to Goa, where the investigation will tighten around the Luthra brothers.
Shreya and Ashutosh keeping a very close eye on the developments at the airport. On your screens right now, viewers, are the picture, the exclusive access picture of the Luthra brothers at the Delhi airport that has been accessed by my colleague Arvind Ojha. Ashutosh, if you're back with me, what is happening at the customs corridor currently?
चूंकि 25 लोगों की मौत हुई थी, तो उसमें चूंकि व्यस्त थी। उसके बाद जब ये पता चला कि इस क्लब के ऑनर गौरव लूथरा और सौरव लूथरा हैं, उसके बाद दोनों को पकड़ने के लिए गोवा पुलिस दिल्ली आती है। नॉर्थ वेस्ट दिल्ली में छापेमारी होती है इनके घर पर, लेकिन ये जानकारी मिलती है कि घर पर वो नहीं है। उसके बाद गोवा पुलिस मुंबई इमिग्रेशन डिपार्टमेंट से कांटेक्ट करती है। चूंकि गोवा का जो जोन है वो मुंबई इमिग्रेशन डिपार्टमेंट में मिलता है। उसके बाद मुंबई जो इमिग्रेशन डिपार्टमेंट है वो गोवा पुलिस को ये जानकारी देती है कि ये दोनों भाई दिल्ली एयरपोर्ट से फ्लाइट पकड़ के सुबह तकरीबन 5:30 बजे 7 दिसंबर को फुकेट के लिए रवाना हो गए। गोवा पुलिस के होश उड़ गए। उसके बाद एक तरफ ताबड़तोड़ गिरफ्तारियां होती रही, वहीं दूसरी तरफ गोवा पुलिस उसने एक सीबीआई को लेटर लिखा और ब्लू कॉर्नर नोटिस जारी करने का अनुरोध किया, और सीबीआई ने तुरंत एक्शन लिया और सीबीआई ने इंटरपोल से संपर्क साधा, और उसके बाद फिर इंटरपोल ने 2 दिन के अंदर, ये बहुत बड़ी बात है, 2 दिन के अंदर जो ब्लू कॉर्नर नोटिस है वो जारी कर दिया। क्योंकि अमूमन ब्लू कॉर्नर नोटिस जारी करने में इंटरपोल इंटरपोल तमाम वो दस्तावेज मांगता है, लेकिन यहाँ ऐसा नहीं हुआ। 1 हफ्ते से ज़्यादा का वक्त लगता है, लेकिन यहाँ 2 दिन का वक्त लगा। और उसके बाद ब्लू कॉर्नर नोटिस दरअसल जारी क्यों करवाया जाता है? अगर कोई शख्स, कोई आरोपी किसी देश को छोड़कर फरार हो जाता है तो ब्लू कॉर्नर नोटिस के जरिए उस शख्स की लोकेशन, उसकी एग्जैक्ट डिटेल वो मिलती है। और ब्लू कॉर्नर नोटिस जैसे ही जारी हुआ, 2 दिन के अंदर जो फुकेट जो थाई पुलिस है उसने इन दोनों भाइयों को लोकेट किया। इंडिगो एक होटल है वहां पर, और उसके बाद इनको पकड़ा गया। इमिग्रेशन जो डिपार्टमेंट है फुकेट का, वहां पर लाया गया। चूंकि इसी दौरान गोवा पुलिस ने इन दोनों का पासपोर्ट रद्द करवा दिया था, इस वजह से इन दोनों को भारत लाने के लिए इमरजेंसी ट्रेवल सर्टिफिकेट की जरूरत होती। इस वजह से इन दोनों को बैंकॉक ले जाया गया। बैंकॉक में जो इंडियन एम्बेसी है उसने इमरजेंसी ट्रेवल सर्टिफिकेट बनवाया। उसके बाद फिर इनको दबोच करके दिल्ली एयरपोर्ट पर लाया गया है, और अभी भी दिल्ली एयरपोर्ट पर है। 1 घंटे से ज्यादा का वक्त लग सकता है दिल्ली एयरपोर्ट से बाहर लाने में, क्योंकि इनके खिलाफ एलओसी भी जारी है, ब्लू कॉर्नर नोटिस भी जारी है, और साथ ही साथ पासपोर्ट रद्द हो चुका है। तो अभी जो आज तक को जानकारी मिली है, इमिग्रेशन पर इनकी तमाम फॉर्मेलिटीज हो रही है। उसके बाद इनको बाहर लाया जाएगा। आधिकारिक तौर पर गोवा पुलिस को गिरफ्तार करेगी, उसके बाद कोर्ट में प्रोड्यूस किया जाएगा, ट्रांजिट रिमांड लिया जाएगा, उसके बाद फिर गोवा लेकर पुलिस जाएगी। तो एक बड़ी कामयाबी से कह सकते हैं। और ये जो आज तक पर हम तस्वीरें दिखा रहे हैं, एक मैसेज भी है उन तमाम लोगों को कि अब वो वक्त नहीं रहा। अगर आप भारत में कोई क्राइम करते हैं, आपके खिलाफ कोई एफआईआर दर्ज है और यहाँ से आप फरार होने की कोशिश करते हैं, आपको लगता है कि विदेश में कहीं आप छिप सकते हैं, तो ऐसा होने वाला नहीं है। इंडियन एजेंसी आपको कहीं से भी पकड़ कर ला सकती है, और यही हुआ सौरभ लूथरा और गौरव लूथरा के साथ। दोनों को पकड़ के दिल्ली एयरपोर्ट पर लाया जा चुका है।
That was Arvind Ojha, our senior crime reporter, talking about what has been happening in the investigation and in the immigration, the extradition that was done for the Luthra brothers. They've been brought back to Delhi and they will very shortly be taken out from the airport and be taken to the Patiala House court. Remember, this FIR against, in this particular case, is about the causing death due to negligence.
वो भी पार्टनर है, फिर उसे गिरफ्तार किया गया। और देखिए, गिरफ्तारी से बचने के लिए हर आरोपी क्या करता है। ये दोनों भाई विदेश भाग गए। अजय गुप्ता दिल्ली के एक हॉस्पिटल में एडमिट हो गया। उस हॉस्पिटल से गोवा पुलिस ने दिल्ली पुलिस की मदद से पकड़ा। और अजय गुप्ता ने आज तक के कैमरे पर ही कहा था कि वो स्लीपिंग पार्टनर है गोवा के क्लब का, जबकि आज तक के पास वो दस्तावेज मिले जिससे ये पता चला कि अजय गुप्ता भी एक्टिव पार्टनर था। तो अजय गुप्ता को गिरफ्तार किया गया। दिल्ली से एक और गिरफ्तारी हुई भरत नाम के शख्स की, जो कि क्लब का ऑपरेशनल हेड था डेली रूटीन का, तो उसको भी गिरफ्तार किया।
All right, Arvind Ojha there speaking to my colleague on Aaj Tak about what the investigation is all about, talking to us about what has been happening in the investigation, what the Goa police has been doing, what the immigration agencies have been doing, and what these accused have done. As Arvind just pointed out, immediately after this particular case, the Luthra brothers fled Delhi, went off to Thailand. Ajay Gupta checked himself into a hospital, claiming that he is not even an active partner in the business. He cannot be held responsible for what has been happening. But clearly, viewers, the big question is what will really happen in this case? 25 people have lost their lives. The FIR by the Goa police clearly says that without any fire safety equipment, without following any fire safety norms, the management of this particular nightclub organized a fire show, which is what caused this tragedy. 25 people have lost their lives. Arvind Ojha is back with me on this. Arvind, very, very serious tragedy has taken place. The FIR is only about causing death due to negligence, deaths due to fire, and the very difficult to prove allegation of culpable homicide not amounting to murder. And we've seen how these men have been behaving in the last 10 days. Ajay Gupta claiming he's not even an active partner. Saurav and Gaurav Luthra running away from India. Arvind.
बिल्कुल देखिए, और जो इंडिया टुडे ने एक्सेस भी किया, अब सौरभ लूथरा और गौरव लूथरा को दिल्ली एयरपोर्ट पर लाया गया है। जो गोवा पुलिस के टॉप ऑफिशियल हैं, उन्होंने बताया कि अभी इमिग्रेशन डिपार्टमेंट में तमाम जो फॉर्मेलिटीज़ है वो की जा रही है। उसकी दो वजह हैं। वजह एक ये है कि इन दोनों के खिलाफ एलओसी इशू हुआ था, दूसरी वजह है कि इनका पासपोर्ट कैंसिल हुआ था। दोनों को इमरजेंसी ट्रैवल सर्टिफिकेट पर ही इंडिया लाया गया है, क्योंकि पासपोर्ट रद्द हो गया था। इस वजह से इनको फुकेट से बैंकॉक ले गया था, और बैंकॉक में जो इंडियन एम्बेसी है वहां से इमरजेंसी ट्रैवल सर्टिफिकेट जारी होता है। तो वहां से इमरजेंसी ट्रैवल सर्टिफिकेट जारी हुआ, इंडियन ऑफिसर वहां पर पहुंचे, और उसके बाद फिर उनको दोनों भाइयों को ड्रैग करके भारत लाया गया। और फिलहाल इमिग्रेशन डिपार्टमेंट में फॉर्मेलिटीज हो रही है। 1 घंटे का वक्त लगेगा जब दिल्ली एयरपोर्ट के बाहर ये दोनों आएंगे। जैसे ही गोवा पुलिस को हैंड ओवर करेगी एजेंसी, उसके बाद इनको फॉर्मली, ऑल्दो अरेस्ट किया जा चुका है, फॉर्मली ऑन पेपर इनको अरेस्ट किया जाएगा, और उसके बाद फिर उनको कोर्ट में प्रोड्यूस किया जाएगा। वहां से ट्रांजिट रिमांड पर लेकर गोवा पुलिस जाएगी। ये एक पिक्चर कई बातें बताता है। जो सबसे बड़ी बात यह है कि हाल फिलहाल में अगर आपने देखा होगा तो ऐसे कम ही इंसिडेंट आए हैं जब कोई अक्यूज्ड क्राइम करके फॉरेन कंट्री में शेल्टर लेता है और उसे भारत लाया गया हो। लेकिन ये 6 दिसंबर को ये पूरा इंसिडेंट होता है जब गोवा के क्लब में आग लगती है। उसके बाद गोवा पुलिस को ये जानकारी मिलती है कि दोनों ये जो भाई हैं लूथरा ब्रदर्स, ये दिल्ली एयरपोर्ट से फुकेट के लिए रवाना हो गए, फरार हो गए। उसके बाद गोवा पुलिस सीबीआई को लेटर लिखती है और कहती है कि इंटरपोल से ब्लू कॉर्नर नोटिस जारी कराया जाए। उसके बाद 2 दिन के अंदर ही ब्लू कॉर्नर नोटिस इन दोनों ब्रदर्स के खिलाफ इंटरपोल जारी करता है, और कुछ दिनों के अंदर ही इनको लोकेट किया जाता है फुकेट के इंडिगो होटल में। और वहां फिर जो फुकेट की एजेंसी है दोनों भाइयों को डिटेन करती है, फुकेट के इमिग्रेशन डिपार्टमेंट में रखा जाता है। उसके बाद इंडियन ऑफिसर कांटेक्ट करते हैं। उसके बाद चूंकि इन दोनों का पासपोर्ट कैंसिल हो गया था, इस वजह से फुकेट से डायरेक्ट ये इंडिया नहीं आए। चूंकि पासपोर्ट जब किसी का कैंसिल हो जाता है तो इमरजेंसी ट्रैवल सर्टिफिकेट की जरूरत होती है, वो एम्बेसी ही बनाती है। इस वजह से दोनों भाइयों को बैंकॉक शिफ्ट किया गया, वहां पर डॉक्यूमेंटेशन हुआ, इमरजेंसी ट्रैवल सर्टिफिकेट दोनों भाइयों का बना। उसके बाद फिर फाइनली आज दोनों को ड्रैग करके दिल्ली एयरपोर्ट पर लाया गया है। दिल्ली एयरपोर्ट पर लूथरा ब्रदर्स की एक्सक्लूसिव तस्वीरें इंडिया टुडे के पास है। फिलहाल फॉर्मेलिटीज चल रही है। कुछ देर बाद दिल्ली एयरपोर्ट के बाहर इन दोनों को लाया जाएगा गोवा पुलिस की कस्टडी में, और गोवा पुलिस अरेस्ट करके इनको पटियाला कोर्ट में प्रोड्यूस करेगी, और उसके बाद वहां से ट्रांजिट रिमांड पर लेकर जाएगी। तो एक बड़ा सक्सेस है न सिर्फ गोवा पुलिस के लिए, सेंट्रल एजेंसीज के लिए भी, क्योंकि एक बेहतर कोऑर्डिनेशन यहाँ पर हुआ, और उसके बाद दोनों भाइयों को दिल्ली लाया गया।
जी अरविंद, आप जैसे की बात कर रहे हैं कि इतना कोऑर्डिनेशन हुआ एजेंसीज के बीच, इस तरह से इनको वापस लाया गया, इंटरपोल नोटिस हुआ, एम्बेसी के थ्रू सारा हुआ। अभी फिलहाल हम क्या उम्मीद रख रहे हैं कि अगले कुछ घंटों में क्या होने की संभावना है? देखिए,
अब जो फॉर्मेलिटीज है वो होनी है। जो सबसे बड़ा चैलेंज था वो ये था कि, और शायद किसी ने, हमारे व्यूअर्स ने भी नहीं सोचा होगा कि ये जब फुकेट चले गए तो इतना इजीली इनको दिल्ली लाया जाएगा। लेकिन यहाँ पर एजेंसीज की बिल्कुल तारीफ करनी होगी, चाहे गोवा पुलिस की, सीबीआई की तारीफ करनी होगी, सेंट्रल एजेंसीज की तारीफ करनी होगी, क्योंकि इंसिडेंट के बाद जब ये पता चला कि दोनों फुकेट फरार हो गए, उसके बाद गोवा पुलिस ने क्विकली एक लेटर लिखा सीबीआई को कि दोनों भाइयों के खिलाफ एटलीस्ट ब्लू कॉर्नर नोटिस इशू कराया जाए। क्योंकि जो हमें जानकारी है उसके मुताबिक रेड कॉर्नर नोटिस तभी इशू होता है जब किसी अक्यूज्ड के खिलाफ चार्जशीट कोर्ट में फाइल हो जाए, लेकिन यहाँ ऐसा नहीं था। इसलिए वजह से ब्लू कॉर्नर नोटिस इशू कराया गया, और उसके जरिए इनकी लोकेशन, एग्जैक्ट लोकेशन पता चल पाई कि ये फुकेट के एक इंडिगो होटल में है। तो फिलहाल इनको गोवा पुलिस अरेस्ट करेगी, और उसके बाद इनको कोर्ट में प्रोड्यूस किया जाएगा, जहां से ट्रांजिट रिमांड की मांग की जाएगी। मोस्टली 24 आवर की या 48 आवर की जो ट्रांजिट रिमांड है वो मांगेगी गोवा पुलिस। उसके बाद फिर इनको मोस्टली आज लेट नाइट तक ये दोनों को गोवा पुलिस लेकर गोवा पहुंचेगी, वहां फिर इनको कोर्ट में प्रोड्यूस किया जाएगा, वहां से पुलिस कस्टडी रिमांड की मांग की जाएगी, और उसके बाद फिर इनसे पूछताछ होगी क्यों ये भागे फुकेट इंसिडेंट के बाद? क्योंकि जाहिर सी बात है 6 दिसंबर को ये इंसिडेंट हुआ था, इनको ये पता चल चुका था कि इनके क्लब में 25 लोगों की जिंदा जल के मौत हो गई। तो ये क्यों भागे? साथ ही ये भी कि एनओसी, बिना फायर की एनओसी के ये इतना बड़ा क्लब कैसे चल रहा था? वो कौन गवर्नमेंट ऑफिशियल थे गोवा के जो इनके साथ मिलकर ये सब कुछ कर रहे थे? तो बात सिर्फ क्लब की अब नहीं होगी या 25 लोगों की मौत, उनकी बात तो होगी इस वजह से अरेस्ट करने के लिए, लेकिन ये पूरा नेक्सस कैसे चल रहा था इसके बारे में डिटेल्स गोवा पुलिस लेगी।
जी बिल्कुल अरविंद, यही मेरा सवाल आपसे है, क्या हमें गोवा पुलिस से कुछ जानकारी मिली है कि पिछले 10 दिनों में क्या हुई है इन्वेस्टिगेशन? क्योंकि जैसा कि आपने कहा, ये सिर्फ एक लूथरा ब्रदर्स की बात नहीं है, ये सिर्फ उनके मैनेजर्स की बात नहीं है, ये बात ये भी है कि वहाँ पर बिना फायर सेफ्टी नॉर्म्स के, बिना किसी एनवायरमेंटल नॉर्म्स के ये नाइट क्लब चल ही कैसे रहा था? हाउ वाज दिस नाइट क्लब अलाउड टू फंक्शन इन दैट वे? द गोवा पुलिस ने एसआईटी भी बैठाने की बात की थी, गोवा के चीफ मिनिस्टर ने स्पेशल इन्वेस्टिगेशन शुरू करने की बात की थी, मैजिस्ट्रियल इंक्वायरी ऑर्डर की गई है। उसके बारे में गोवा पुलिस से क्या आपको कोई जानकारी मिली है?
देखिए, गोवा की जो इकोनॉमी है वो बहुत कुछ जो टूरिस्ट है उस पर डिपेंड होती है, और चूंकि क्लब में ये आग लगी इस वजह से जो गोवा की गवर्नमेंट है उसने इसको पूरी तरह से सीरियस लिया, और खुद जो गोवा के चीफ मिनिस्टर हैं उन्होंने कई बार प्रेस कॉन्फ्रेंस करके पूरे इन्वेस्टिगेशन का अपडेट दिया। साथ ही साथ एसआईटी बनाई गई है जो इसकी इन्वेस्टिगेशन कर रही है। कुछ जो गवर्नमेंट ऑफिशियल हैं उनसे पूछताछ की गई, कुछ को अरेस्ट भी किया गया है। तो इन्वेस्टिगेशन के लेवल पर गोवा पुलिस लगातार अरेस्टिंग कर रही है लोगों की, साथ ही साथ पैरेलल जो गवर्नमेंट की तरफ से होना चाहिए वो गवर्नमेंट कर रही है। न सिर्फ इसकी बल्कि और भी जो गोवा में क्लब चल रहे हैं अब उनका भी ऑडिट किया जा रहा है कि किसके पास फायर के एनओसी है नहीं है, किसके पास किस तरह के डॉक्यूमेंट कंप्लीट है कि नहीं है। लेकिन अपने आप में बहुत बड़े हैरानी वाली बात है, क्या गोवा पुलिस के जो लोकल
All right, Arvind, stay on with me. We are getting breaking news coming in. Luthra Brothers are facing serious charges which could include up to 10 years in jail. Remember, the Luthra Brothers are facing the FIR, which includes Section 105 of the Bharatiya Nyaya Sanhita, which is culpable homicide not amounting to murder, which includes up to 10 years jail and a fine for the act done with the knowledge that this act is likely to cause death or cause bodily injury. Now, we're also expecting that the Goa police would add more stringent charges to the allegations against the Luthras and the managers who are managing this particular nightclub. For now, of course, viewers, the FIR is limited to Section 105 of the Section 105 and other Section 125 as well as 287 of the Bharatiya Nyaya Sanhita, which in Section 125, remember, is a rash or negligent act endangering human life and safety. Section 286 is a negligent act using fire, both of which are not so serious charges. The maximum punishment for these is 6 months in jail. It is only Section 105, which is culpable homicide not amounting to murder, that allows for up to 10 years in jail. But it will be, this is going to be very difficult for the Goa police to prove, because culpable homicide charge requires proof that the person who committed this particular act actually knew that it could cause that kind of threat to safety and threat to life. But clearly, viewers, the Goa police has added this section in the FIR. The allegation very clearly in the FIR is that the management, knowing that they do not have fire safety equipment, that knowing that they are not following fire safety norms, without taking proper care and caution, organized a fire show. That is what the FIR says, viewers. They organize this fire show with the full knowledge that organizing such show may lead to serious fire incidents. It could lead to a serious accident which could cause death of customers and staff. That is what the FIR says against the management and the owners of Birch by Romeo Lane. So clearly, the Goa police is taking this incident very, very, very seriously, and the Luthra brothers, who've now been brought back to India, are facing this very FIR. Now the question is going to be, will the Goa police be able to prove these charges? Because culpable homicide charges have been in the FIR since the beginning. The FIR that was filed by the Goa police on the 6th of December, on Saturday, right after the information was received at the police station about this particular fire. The incident happened on the 6th of December. The information was received in the morning on the 7th of December at the Anjana police station. The FIR was registered at the Anjana police station, and the FIR is including charges of culpable homicide, of a rash and negligent act, and a rash act using fire. The maximum punishment, of course, under culpable homicide not amounting to murder charges would be about 10 years in jail, because the Goa police FIR clearly says that the owners, partners, manager, event organizer and other managing staff of Birch by Romeo Lane, Arpara, without taking proper care and caution, without providing fire safety equipment, without providing safety gadgets, organized the fire show at the club, which resulted into a serious fire, causing the death of 25 people. In fact, the police has clearly in the FIR said, with the full knowledge that organizing such show may lead to serious fire incidents which may cause death of customers and staff, this restaurant did not have emergency exit door on the ground floor or the deck floor to evacuate in case of emergency. It was operating without obtaining permissions or licenses from the competent authorities. So the Goa police clearly saying that the owners and management knew very well what the risk of operating this kind of a nightclub was. They knew very well that they did not have the equipment, they did not have the NOCs, and despite all of that, they organized the fire show. And what we're picking up from our sources in Goa is that they may add more charges against the owners and the management of Birch by Romeo Lane as the investigation continues in Goa. Luthra Brothers have now been brought back to India to face the legal system. The Goa police will be taking them into custody. And we are seeing the kind of allegations against the owners and managers of this particular nightclub. Remember, 25 people lost their lives in that fire. There was a fire show organized in that particular nightclub in the middle of the night, as more than 100 people were inside this nightclub. And on your screens right now, viewers, are the visuals that we have of the fire that happened on the night of 6th and 7th of December. 25 people dead, 14 of them staff members of the nightclub itself. It was their responsibility. It was updates on this with my colleague Anjali Istwal, who's taking over.
Thank you very much, Anisha. So big news day for us today as we see the Luthra brothers dragged back to India. The men who fled ran away just hours after the fire broke out and caused 25 deaths. And what we know now is the charge sheet is going to definitely lead to a significant amount of jail time for them. Joining us right now is Ashutosh Mishra. Ashutosh, what procedures did the Goa police have to go through? And currently, where are the Luthra brothers? What can we expect? When will they be brought in front of the court?
As of now, they are still inside the airport. The immigration process has been completed. The formality of arrest has already been done by the Goa police. They have been handed over. Legal process has been done. Now, what is causing delay? Of course, they are not waiting for their baggages at the check-in, at the belt luggage area. Clearly, there is some strategy being worked out by the Goa police. Now, once they are taken into custody, as per rule of law, within 24 hours, they need to be produced before a court. Now, that's only an anticipation. What could possibly, since you asked what could possibly happen, remember, there is also transit facilities. Once you are taking a domestic flight further onwards after immigration, and that's also happening from the airport area. There are Goa flights connected from Delhi as well. So after immigration, we are still waiting for a confirmation whether Goa police is planning that after arresting him formally, immediately from the international arrival to reaching to the domestic area and taking the next available flight to Goa. Even when he is landing to Goa, he can be produced before the Goa court directly. So that's another option available for the Goa police. But at the same time, they can also bring him out, take to the local court and to produce him. Since arresting has been done, they have 24 hours to do the legal formalities. So we are still waiting for those confirmation. They continue to be inside the airport area. Immigration has been, the process has been cleared. So we're waiting for official word or at least some images whether they are coming out anytime soon. But now, since there are speculations on, they have the legal options as well. That internal transfers, usually we do internal transfers often when there is no direct flight to Delhi. We get down at Bangalore, clear our immigration, take another flight, and then we come to our destination. So that's also internal transfers. That's another facility if the Goa police is planning to take them to Goa.
Right, absolutely. So clearly there is a strategy being developed. We have to understand these are two men who had escaped the clutches of the law but have now been dragged back. Ashutosh, do give us a timeline, for the viewers who are joining in with us, do try and give us a timeline as to how the incident happened, how the brothers ran away, completely disowning their actions, and then were through the extradition treaty, they were caught in Thailand, and then they're being dragged back to India to face the music. We'll try and connect with Ashutosh as he stands there at the airport trying to find out what's happening with the Luthra brothers who've been brought back to India via the extradition treaty with Thailand. Remember, these two brothers who were responsible for the death of 25 people because of a fire that broke out at their establishment had very conveniently booked a flight to Thailand. And this was while there was a whole problem going on as far as Indigo was concerned. And in the midst of that, they managed to book a flight, ran away, and are now being brought back. Now, the issue here is everyone is asking how did they manage to run an establishment with multiple violations? And now the charges that are being framed against them by the Goa police are clear. They are also planning to add some more serious charges. They are going to add culpable homicide. Now, culpable homicide is not amounting to murder, which is important to understand what the intention of the two people was. They knew that their action could cause death. Despite that, they went ahead with that action, and that action means that they went ahead operating their establishment without the correct protocol, without the right licenses, without the right NOCs. And that led to this incident. Joining us right now is India Today's Shreya Chatterjee, who's been keeping an eye on this entire matter. Shreya, what are you hearing from your sources?
Well, what you right now see is the kind of arrangements that have been prepped at the IGI. This is from the Terminal 3, the international exit point from where the Luthra brothers will shortly be brought out. You can see the high security protocols put in place by the Delhi police, officials of the Delhi police here, including the CISF. The entire area has been barricaded well off. The media has been kept at a limit. And what we see, the escort vehicles have also been lined up. So clearly, any moment from now, we will be seeing the Luthra brothers exiting from this particular point. And as my colleague Anisha has been reporting about the FIR details, how culpable homicide is also a part of that, whether that charge will stand in the court or not is the bigger question. Because remember, to prove culpable homicide, the establishment of the fact that the knowledge of prior possibility of injury or hurt leading to death has to be proven by the police in their investigation. That is primarily why it looks like that the Goa police will probably be adding more sections in this particular case. As of now, we're already aware that how environmental norms were flouted on a salt pan. The Birch by Romeo Lane operations were done by the Luthra brothers, Saurav and Gaurav Luthra, who are right now in the Indian soil. They escaped for 10 days. They managed to flee after the entire incident. Remember, 25 individuals lost their lives in that club fire. I mean, just after the news trickled down, they actually booked a flight and they flew out of the country. But big win for our agencies, big win for our police force that they have brought both the brothers now to the country with the formal arrest subsequently now taking place. This is a huge win, and we'll shortly be seeing the Luthra brothers walking out of this particular gate and subsequently be taken for a medical and then to the Patiala House Court, where the transit remand will be sought by the Goa police, and from there we will see them land in Goa, where investigation will tighten around both the brothers.
Right, Shreya. Also concerning was the fact that these two brothers, right after the fire broke out, it did not even take them, one would say, a few hours. It was just over a couple of hours that they managed to book their flights and escape. Although they've been claiming that they had businesses there and their meeting was planned, but that claim was refuted by the Goa police and they showed proof of that. So the intention of running away definitely was there.
And that also includes that whether they were also trying to destroy evidence in the form of digital. Because remember, the fact that they actually wanted to escape the country, that's something that the Goa police has already established. Even while the Goa police was seeking the custody and further investigation of one of their partners, Ajay Gupta, in that procedure, they had very categorically suggested how there was an entire conspiracy hatched about escaping the country as well by both the brothers. So clearly, there was a plan in action, and that plan in action was executed after the tragedy took place, after these people knew that 25 individuals died. Ideally, there would have been any remorse, any kind of empathy. Both the brothers should have taken a flight to Goa and probably tried to assist the families, the victims who died at their owned pub. But that was not what they wanted. They ran away. That is a very bad optics. And probably while a lot of people are asking the question that whether sections like culpable homicide will actually stand in court by the investigation agencies, which is the Goa police in the matter. Remember, the fact that they escaped the country, that is a very bad optics that will go against them. Definitely. At least for now, we will definitely be seeing the Goa police smoothly getting the transit remand, and subsequently in Goa, we'll also see some more sections being filed, because as we talk about the Luthra brothers and them being brought to book, remember, the entire incident has also brought shame to the Goa administration, because question also arose that how did a club actually pop up on a salt pan, get all those required licenses, run operations, who were the individuals involved in the administration of Goa? That's also a bigger question that will be investigated in the course.
Right. Shreya, also, let's talk about how they try to avoid basically coming in front of the law and try to avoid the legal recourse, because one of the brothers also claimed that he has epilepsy, and probably that is the reason why we will require that that medical examination also. But even that was sort of countered by the police, and they brought it home that all the claims and all the arguments that the Luthra brothers and their lawyers were making in the court were just against the Goa police and the authorities as well, of targeting, of having some sort of an intention to, harass them. That all also was refuted by the Goa police in the court.
Well, it will absolutely not stand any ground, because why did the Luthra brothers, just after the tragedy, escape the country? That will have to be also justified by the defense lawyers. Whether Luthra brothers have any kind of an alibi that they definitely did have a meeting, they had some pre-planned action in place, because contrary to that, the Goa police is already submitting information that the entire plan to escape the country was hatched after the tragedy took place. So that gives bad optics for the Luthra brothers. That will buy time for the Goa police to seek their police custody, bring them under investigation, and then we will definitely be seeing some more sections being added. That being said, we will also need to look at the other individuals involved in the process of that pub acquiring those licenses. It was actually operating on a salt pan. I'm time and again mentioning this because these are areas where environmental norms were flouted to operate a pub in the first place. North Goa region of Arpora. We've had our colleagues also bring out those trade license details of how just 4 days into seeking a trade license, the NOC and the formal go-ahead was given by the administration. Is it so quick for everyone, or whether all the norms were followed before giving their trade license, or whether norms were flouted? Because they also seem to be repeat offenders. In the national capital as well, one of their operations that runs in the North District, that was flouted for violating norms by the MCD. So clear offenders, and these are the guys who are now, at the media limelight because they escaped the country. No remorse that the environmental norms and the fire norms and every other norm that they flouted that led to the death of 25 individuals. They ran the country. They did not show remorse. And that's the reason, this kind of an optics is important to show individuals that if you think that you can actually cost 25 lives and run away the country, that will not happen. Law will take its own course and you will be brought back to the country. So that is the reason this kind of an optics is extremely important. And that's one reason why we should also thank our law enforcement agencies for bringing back the Luthra brothers to the country.
Absolutely, Shreya. Do stay on with us. It is greed and ambition that we saw has made Luthra brothers get involved in such a murky thing, and we have 25 people dead because of their action, or rather inaction. Now, let's try and understand how the Luthra brothers were dragged back to India. Remember, just hours after what had happened, they had fled. Where? They fled right to Phuket. From Delhi, they caught a flight, and that was at 5:30 in the morning. In an Indigo flight, in the middle of the Indigo crisis, they caught a flight from Delhi and flew to Phuket. They did not go to Goa. That's where the fire had happened. That's where people were dying. Their employees were dying. There were tourists who were dying, but they fled to Thailand. Now, on December 16th, after much effort that was put in by the central agencies, MEA, MHA, all these ministries working together, Goa police also putting in its own effort. It was on December 16th that the Luthras were put on a flight back to India, and they have landed in India. They are in Delhi right now. They will be produced in front of the court. Their custody, transit remand will be taken by the Goa police. Goa police shall be taking them to Goa, and that is the final action. From Delhi, a flight to Goa, that's where they will go. The place where the crime was committed, the place where the people died, that's where they will have to face the Indian justice system. So the killer brothers, the Luthra brothers, will be going to Goa via Mumbai. They will make a stopover in Mumbai, but will head straight away to Goa. And it's important to realize that they need to face the music to understand that you cannot get away with what you do in this country as you stand accountable for your actions. We're going to quickly slip into a short break. When we come back, we give you the latest updates as to where the Luthra brothers are and when they will go to court.
You are watching India Today.
Once again, India Today wins Best Channel of the Year.
Hi, Sana here with a quick AQI update. Delhi 414, Mumbai 173, Kolkata 215, Bangalore 140, Chennai 172, Hyderabad 164.
To land in Delhi in less than half an hour. The Luthra brothers will be arrested immediately after landing, and the Goa police is set to take custody of the Luthras. Remember, they have been brought back to India from Thailand, where they had fled after the nightclub fire that claimed 25 lives. Now they will be facing Indian law and Indian justice. And as we've been reporting, since the fire, the Luthra brothers not just owned this particular property, but also several other properties, and the Romeo Lane restaurant group had been on an aggressive expansion spree. There are multiple restaurants across the country, but in Goa, India Today had accessed the documents that showed clearly that this restaurant, this bar, this resort was built on illegal land. I'm also being joined by Ashutosh, who's live with me on this story. Ashutosh, the Luthra brothers to be brought back any minute now. You're at the airport. What can you tell us about this entire development?
60 seconds from now, I could say that I'm tracking the flight data. That's a Bangkok-Delhi flight, Indigo flight. It's touching down in 60 seconds. It's currently flying at the altitude of 2,000 feet with the 156 knots per hour. And that's exactly when, the countdown begins for the Luthra Brothers to face the heat and action of the Indian government. Remember, the Indian government officials, the agents which are bringing them, immediately they'll be brought to the immigration. Once their immigration is cleared, the Goa police officials, 6 officials, we have those exclusive pictures of the Goa police officials, including a female officer and a senior official, a 6-member team of the Goa police. They are waiting at the immigration lounge at the Terminal 3 airport right behind me at the arrival area. And after the due process of immigration that is cleared, they will be handed over to the Goa police officials, and then of course the medical test will be eventually required, so they will coordinate with the Delhi police. In fact, right behind me, the Delhi police officials along with the CISF have made adequate arrangement, because looking at the number of media persons, those who are at the airport here, so that's a arrangement by the Delhi police. So with the coordination, they'll be taking him for the medical report. We'll have to take down whether they are going to AIMS or Safdarjung. Once the medical report is done, then eventually he'll be taken to the Patiala House Court, what we're hearing from the sources, where he'll be produced, and police will take a transit remand. So as per the legal process, once the transit remand is sought, probably late evening or soon the next flight for these officials are available to Goa, from Delhi to Goa, he'll be taken to Goa, and during the time, because only likely he'll be produced with the Goa local court tomorrow. So they will have a night long for the inquiry, investigation or the questioning. So tomorrow again it's going to be produced in the Goa local court in the cases that they are booked for. So what I see from the data recorder, that flight is landing any moment. It's a matter of seconds once it lands. So it may take another 15 to 20 minutes. At the very last seat, where it is called a Charlie seat, at the very last in the flight where they are sitting with the Indian officials, the first deboarding will take place only of these Luthra brothers, along with the Indian officials. And the CISF officials, what I'm hearing, also at the deboarding gate. Since the deboarding gate has already been announced, they'll be first escorted out of the craft. They'll be immediately brought to the immigration department. Once their process documentation immigration is cleared, then the Goa police will immediately take them into custody right across the immigration side. And then the further legal process being, let me take you to the gate. It's a matter of minutes only. They'll be brought maybe probably in another 15 to 20 minutes from this gate of Delhi's Terminal 3 airport.
Ashutosh, we've been talking about this fire and the violations since last week when the incident had happened. It is a horrifying incident where 25 people have lost their lives, several gotten injured. And the question that is being asked everywhere is not just about the negligence in how this resort was being run. We saw how the fire started in the kitchen area, probably in the kitchen area. The kitchen was in the basement. The fire sort of took over the entire space because the entire resort was built with highly flammable material. It was built in a very negligent manner. It was built on illegal land. There was a case going on about that as well. We saw the responses also coming in from the politics and of Goa. What are you picking up from your sources in the police agencies, in the investigative agencies, about exactly what allegations do these men face? There is negligence, there is negligent death. What exactly are the charges against them from your sources?
Well, before I respond to your question, let me give you breaking news that the special plane commercial plane has landed. Luthra Brothers finally brought to India. The Indian government officials, after the extradition treaty, have successfully brought him here. The plane has touched down. Now, he'll be taken to custody after the immigration process is followed. So finally, the big story at the moment, the Luthra Brothers, both absconding in the Goa, the fire case, have been brought to India. The plane has landed. And it's a matter of legal
is bringing us. Luthra Brothers have landed in Delhi. The plane that was bringing them has finally landed, and as my colleague Ashutosh has been telling us, he's at the airport. The Luthra Brothers who've been brought, who are being escorted by officials, are going to be taken through immigration and straight to Delhi's Patiala House Court. Ashutosh, please go on. What more do we know about what is happening at the airport?
Looks like there are certain arrangements have been made since the plane has touched down. It will take quite a time because, again, there is a sense of panic because reportedly there is a bus that they could be taken to some... There are multiple gates. Again, there are many exits. There are VIP gate. There are another domestic VIP gate. And there are 6 other exit gates as well. So that's a little hurdle here that from which gate they are likely to be taken. But what my sources are suggesting, since the flight had just touched down, the entire process from deboarding, but they'll have to first exit the craft. Once they exit, the coming down to the immigration area takes around 5 to 6 minutes, and from there another process, another 5 to 10 minutes. So it is at least 15 minutes from now that is likely to be taking for the entire process, and only then be likely to take exit from this gate. You ask about the question, what are the cases or the merit of the cases are concerned now. They are the owner of the property. So anything unfolds, any such tragedy incident that happens, clearly they are responsible in terms of negligence. At the same time, environmental laws. At the same time, escaping from investigation. That is obstructing the investigation because they escaped from the investigation. At the same time, whether the laws were followed in terms of construction of the resort, entry, exit, fire exit, emergency measures, all these things were taken up place. Because largely when these kind of incidents happens, it again comes the responsibility of the owners. But whether that is a serious offence, so case whether it will sustain in the court of law, that is matter to be seen. But the first prima facie, in a bad optics what Luthra Brothers played, they absconded. When the police was probably needing them for investigation, from questioning, they absconded, and that made literally a strong case against them. Why Goa police proceeded. When it comes to merit of the case, whether the negligence can really sustain the court, will make them to suffer through a severe punishment, that's again only be established during the course of investigation.
Saying it is going to be something to wait and see what happens in the court. But I'm also being joined by Shreya Chatterjee on this story. Shreya, the FIR was registered for safety violations, illegal constructions, improper management, etc. What more do we know about the allegations against the Luthra Brothers? They've been on the run for 10 days. They've now been brought back. And as Ashutosh was saying, the flight has landed.
Well, absolutely, Anisha. It has touched down the Delhi airport. They are still in the runway. As we're being told, we're getting minute-to-minute update from that aircraft itself, and there's Indian agencies, people who are actually there with the Luthra Brothers. Once they are stepping out from that aircraft, and the immigration is where the Goa police team is waiting for both of them. There is where the formal arrest will be taking place. In all likelihood, we will get an update shortly. After that, from here, Anisha, it is the Delhi's Patiala House Court where they will be taking him. Subsequently, a remand application, a transit remand application will be furthered. And once that is secured, they both will be headed back to Goa. So that is the plan as in how the Luthra Brothers will be brought to task. Multiple allegations against them, illegal construction corruption. They flouted multiple norms. They ran a restaurant on a salt pan in North Goa, led to the death of 25 individuals. The fact that they ran away after the news came in, because when the Goa police was also fighting for the remand of another partner of the Luthra brothers, Ajay Gupta, they categorically said that there was minute-to-minute information flow that sustained with the Luthra brothers, and then they decided to take a flight and flee the country. So this is serious allegations against them. We've also seen those details trickling down. The trade license says that within 4 days of a request, they had got their license approved. So clearly, a lot of investigation needs to be done on this, how they were flouting the norms, and unfortunately, all of that landed to the death of 25 individuals. Finally, law has taken its course and the Luthra brothers have landed in Indian soil.
Shreya, stay on with me. The fugitive Luthra brothers have landed now in Delhi after 10 days on the run. They're back in India, and the Goa police team is waiting inside the Delhi airport to arrest them. The Indigo flight with the Luthra brothers has now landed, as my colleagues have been talking about. The Indian agencies have brought them back to India. I'm going back to Ashutosh right now, who continues to be with me from the Delhi airport. Ashutosh, a lot of security has been put in place. The Goa police is also there. What more do we know? What is the latest update?
The deboarding process has been initiated, and they'll be the first. The Luthra brothers, along with the Indian agents, they'll be first escorting the Luthra brothers through the exit gate and to follow towards the immigration. So that's take around 5 to 6 minutes. I'll seek your apology. I'll have to attend this call, please.
And Ashutosh Mishra is at the Delhi airport, tracking every second of what is happening inside the Delhi airport as the Luthra brothers have been brought back from Thailand. Remember, this is with regard to the death of 25 people who died at this nightclub fire. The Goa police team is inside. Ashutosh is back with me now. Ashutosh, what update do you have for us now?
Okay, Luthra Brothers have moved out of the craft with the Indian agents that have got the extradition for these two accused from Thailand, and now they are headed towards the immigration department along with the CISF security. Once the immigration, because that's also because the extradition process has taken a paperwork, they need to be handed over. So that process of handing over will be done by the immigration department. The Indian agents will hand over them to the immigration. Once the process is cleared along with the documentation, Goa police official, 6 members of the special team that is probing this entire case with the senior officials along with the female officials, and so total strength of a 6 persons who are waiting at the immigration waiting area. Once that process is completed, hardly for a matter of 5 minutes, and they'll be handed over. The Goa police will take them into custody right at the immigration, right behind me at the Terminal 3 airport of the arrival area. So the custody is likely to be taken any time soon, and once the custody is taken, they will be taken out. Again, the medical and the transit, the legal, all the legal process will be followed. So Goa police will initially try to take them to Goa court as soon as possible. Even if there is a late night flight available, they will try their best. In that case, in absence of any transportation available, probably the night that they will have with Luthra brothers, they can spend into investigation, inquiry about why they escaped. So all that process that begins here, that real test for the Luthra brothers begins, who absconded, escaped the investigation, escaped the Indian law right after such tragedy unfolded under their nose in a restaurant that they own, probably because of a lot of negligencies, ignoring the law, ignoring such construction, and they are responsible. They will be questioned.
Of course, Ashutosh, these are the questions that we've been asking, that the entire country is asking. How exactly was this resort allowed to open? How was it operating? Why was there so much negligence when it came to the way it was constructed, the way it was managed? Because remember, this is a resort built, as my colleague Shreya was saying, on salt pan land, which is an environmentally protected, fragile area where there should have not been any construction allowed. It was built with wood, it was built with plastic. I was personally there in Goa to report on the aftermath of this fire, and we saw how damaged the entire space was. Shreya continues to be with me on this story. Shreya, The immigration process is now happening, as Ashutosh was just saying. They've been brought back. The immigration department is going to be handing them over to the police. But what exactly are the charges they are likely to be facing? One, of course, being causing death due to negligence. Are we also seeing more charges being added against the Luthra brothers? Breaking news coming in. Goa police has arrested the Luthra brothers at the airport. Formal arrest of the Luthra brothers by the Goa police at the Delhi airport. Shreya, can you tell us more about what's happening?
Well, absolutely. This is a confirmation that has come in from the Goa police. They have formally arrested the Luthra brothers at the airport. This is as per the process that was planned. At first, they were handed over to the Indian authorities at the immigration, and subsequently the Goa police has formally arrested the Luthra brothers. So this is a huge breaking news coming. A 10 days escape finally comes to an end. The Luthra brothers in the custody of Goa police. Very shortly, we will see Anisha walking out, the Luthra brothers walking out of the Delhi airport. They will then be taken for medical, and subsequently we will be seeing them in the Patiala House Court, where their remand will be sought, and then they will be taken to Goa. What we were talking about, that whether more clauses and more sections will be added, we'll definitely be seeing that, because clearly as the complainants also mountain, because remember we are talking about the victim families of 25 individuals. So this is a strong case that the Goa police will also have to build and set an example, because the entire case has also brought shame to the Goa authorities. How did two brothers actually flout environmental norms, land a restaurant over there, a pub club over there, and then manage to flout norms? There will be a lot of investigation, trail of investigation, and everyone who are responsible in that line of order will be taken into task. But clearly that first ball has now been hit, and we will be shortly seeing the Luthra brothers stepping out of the IGI.
You're keeping an eye on the Indira Gandhi International Stadium, but as Shreya was saying, this is just the first step. There are a lot of questions that have to be asked when it comes to this entire tragedy. How was this land given over? There are questions being asked in Goa regarding the allegations that the land takeover was also done forcibly. The original owners, whether they gave up the land willingly or not. How exactly were environmental norms allowed to be flouted? How was this resort allowed to be built at the place that it was? We saw the Sarpanch of Arpura being questioned by the Anjana police on the day of this fire incident, where he claimed that approvals came from up high. That is a question that the investigation into this entire incident will have to answer. How exactly were these approvals given? How exactly were these was this nightclub allowed to operate? Whether any fire safety equipment, whether any fire safety norms were followed. Ashutosh, of course, continues to be with me on this story. Ashutosh, what more are you picking up? What is happening at the airport, and what are we expecting for the rest of the day?
Well, the process to take them into custody is underway. The immigration officials will hand them over, and once the custody is officially announced, they'll be taken outside. So I'm waiting for another 2 to 3 minutes. Probably they'll be taken outside. In fact, we are creating a very close tab. So the process to take them in custody is already initiated.
Ashutosh, let's tell our viewers a little more about what has been happening over the last 10 days since the fire. Ashutosh seems to be bringing us some live images from what is happening at the Delhi airport. Ashutosh, can you, if you can hear me, tell us what is happening at the airport right now?
So, well, I'm trying to get you the live images of the passage where they'll be escorted with the Goa police officials, both Luthra brothers, because right after the immigration, there's the custom gate, and this is exactly the passage. If they have to walk out, they'll be walking out only from this gate. So we are keeping